guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with my first update for my Panda palette of 2021. Before I jump into where I was with this palette last month, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family, but let's just jump into the video. So, as you know, I am panning the Naked Basics palette this year from Urban Decay. This is one of the older palettes in my collection, so I just really wanted to show it some love this year. And I did take a picture of where I was last month when I introduced this palette. I did have a little bit of usage in it, but no real dips, nothing like that. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and show you where I am now with this palette. So maybe you can see there, this is where I am now. So I have hit pan on one of the shades, which is this shade right here called Naked 2, I believe. And I do have some decent dips in the other shades. I'm going to turn it upside down so it's easy to show you. I hope you can see I have dips in all three of these shades. But as always, I'm going to go ahead and talk about each individual shade in order. So last month I didn't really have like a set goal. I just wanted to get use out of the palette and see what I liked about it and kind of which shades I would easily reach for, which shades would be a bit harder to reach for, things like that. So yeah, my goal was to use every single shade 5 times, and yeah, that was the only goal I had, but I definitely exceeded that in most of the shades, which is really exciting. So I'm just gonna go through the usage. The first shade, which is called Venus, is this one right here. This is like a satiny kind of shimmer shade, and hopefully you can see that I do have like a big dip going. That's why I'm tilting the palette. I have used this 27 times over the last month, so quite a lot, and majority of the time I use this as an inner corner highlight. I'm actually also wearing this as a highlight on my cheek, which is another way that I really enjoy reaching for this. It is just a really easy shade to reach for and incorporate in every single look, either like I said on my cheekbones, my inner corner, or my brow bone. So I definitely feel like this won't be a shade that I will struggle using up this year. But I'm really excited to have a really significant dip showing in this shade already. The next two shades, Foxy and Walk of Shame, these two right here, I have used kind of in a similar manner. I'm going to start with Foxy, which is the more kind of yellow toned. I have reached for Foxy 11 times over the last month, so again surpassing that kind of 5 uses. I do have a little bit of a dip in the shade, especially in the middle, but I think with all of these shades right here, I use quite a fluffy brush with them. So the dip isn't that focused, but I'm hoping you can pick it up on camera. I use both of these shades, like I said, in a similar way, and majority of the time I use these to kind of blend out the inner corner right here. I also did that today. I did use Walk of Shame though, but like I said, I use them in the same way. So I blend out kind of my inner crease right here just to brighten up a bit, make sure I don't put my transition shade too far in, and things like that. I don't really set my base anymore. I always apply my eyeshadow on a non-set base, so I can't really use these eyeshadows for that. So I just found other ways to use them, and initially I was a bit worried about reaching for these, but quite early on I realized that I love using these, like I said, to kind of blend out that inner part of my crease, as well as just kind of blending the crease if I went a little bit too high up. So that's how I've been using these, and I've really been loving using them that way. And like I said, I used Foxy 11 times. Surprisingly, I've actually used Walk of Shame a bit more. I have used that 15 times, so a few times more than I used Foxy. This is just the kind of cooler tone, like more pink tone version of Foxy, whereas Foxy is a bit more yellow toned. I try to reach for Foxy when I do more kind of cool tone looks, and over the last month I have kind of leaned towards those looks because I had a lot of kind of cool tones in my panel eyeshadows. And I think that's probably why I used Walk of Shame a bit more. Yeah, I'm really excited, and like, especially filming now, I can definitely see the dip in these eyeshadows, which is really exciting. And again, I'm just really hoping you can see that dip on camera as well. The next shade is the shade that I have used the absolute most, and you can see that I actually hit pan on this eyeshadow. This one here is called Naked 2, and I have used that shade 31 times over the last month. So that's definitely like majority. I mean, that is every single day, isn't it? Yeah, every single day I've used this eyeshadow, and I have used it in my eyebrows. That is where I'm wearing it today too. I do believe I have used it in my crease maybe once or twice, but it's been majority in my eyebrows, and that's also why the pan is shaped the way it is. So like I said, I did hit pan on this eyeshadow, and it only took 12 uses to hit pan, and since then I've tried to like expand around it, because initially I just kind of wanted to see how deep the pans were, so I focused my brush just where I put my brush. So it was a very narrow pan originally, but I have created quite a big of a dip around that pan now, which is really exciting. and like I said, I've used it 31 times in total, so quite a few times after I hit pan as well, and that is why the pan is now, or like the area around the pan, I would say, is more kind of widened. But hitting pan that shade just made me realize how deep these pans are. I knew Urban Decay pans are really deep, but it just gave me a bit of perspective. I know, like, especially these two shades here will be a bit more difficult to use up than I thought, because of the depth of this palette, or like depth of the pans. But yeah, I'm really excited to have a pan, and I did not expect to pan on anything in the first month. So having that pan, even though it is just a small pan, is super exciting to me. So we have the two deeper shades to go. The shade Faint, which is this one right here, I feel like it looks warmer in the pan than it looks more neutral in the pan than it does on the eyes. On the eyes, this looks very, very cool toned. And I actually only reached for this 4 times, so it is the only shade in this palette that I didn't hit my goal on, because I only reached for it 4 times. I guess I could have incorporated in the look today, but I wanted to go for a bit more of a warmer crease. And I think this is going to be the shade that I'm struggling with the most, which is surprising, because I thought I would struggle with the black the most, but I have found quite a few ways that I enjoy wearing that, apart, even like not just as a liner, in other ways as well. So I think Faint is going to be the one, like I said, that I struggle with the most. So I don't know, I don't think you can see like any uses on this. I've maybe like a little bit of kind of disturbance on the pan. It's difficult to say because this palette wasn't new when I introduced it, so I don't really know if the usage is from this past month or just kind of how I used it before putting into this project. But I definitely need to step up my game with the shade Faint, because I just haven't really figured out how to use that shade yet. Then the last shade is Crave right here, which is this black shade right here. It's a very pigmented black, but it's also quite blendable, which I like. I have used this shade 8 times, and there is a tiny bit of a dip in the middle. I doubt that you will see that because it is so rich and deep, but I can definitely see that I've used this, which is really exciting because it is a black shade. I'm actually wearing this in my crease today. So what I did today is I actually put my transition shade in. I put like a deeper kind of warmish brown, and then I deepened up just where I did the cut crease with the black, and I blended that out. And that's kind of how I've been loving using the shade. Maybe not in a cut crease, but also just in my outer corner. I put like a deep brown, or like whatever kind of deepening up shade I want in my outer corner, and then in the very outer corner I put this black and I just blend it into that deeper shade, and it just kind of gives an additional level of kind of dimension to my eye look, and I really enjoy that. So I have found a way to use that black, which is really good. There is a lot of product in this eyeshadow though, so we'll see if I will be able to kind of use it up fully, but I definitely think it will be easier to use that up than I thought it would be. So that is very exciting, and that is basically the progress on this palette so far. I have also been weighing this palette, so I'm going to go through the weight as well quickly. When I introduced this palette, it weighed 75.65 grams, and I did weigh it just before filming, and it now weighs 74.98 grams. So that means that I have used up 0.67 grams, which is pretty decent. I calculated out with the advertised kind of weight on this, and it is 8.58% or 59%, so basically 8.6% of the palette. And if I kind of drag that out over 12 months, it means that I'm on track. I will finish this palette if it contains the advertised weight, and if I keep up that kind of gram usage each month. So that's really good that I am on track, especially since I just wanted to kind of get to know this palette over the last month. And I'm hoping to finish this by the end of the year, or at least be really close to doing so. So before I wrap up this video, as always, I just want to go through my goals with this palette. I think I'm actually going to put a goal in to pan on one of the shades. I think it's most likely going to be Venus, so I'm going to say this one, but if I pan on any of the other shades, that's fine as well. So my first goal would be to hit pan on those eyeshadows, or one of those eyeshadows. My second goal, I think my second goal would be to use Faint 10 times. I know I only used it 4 times over the last month, but I really want to push myself to use this shade, because if I don't start using it now, I feel like it will be one shade that kind of will really haunt me at the end of the year. So I'm going to put in a goal to use that 10 times, and 10 times isn't too much, but I am panning quite a lot of eyeshadow. I counted up all the pans that I have in my collection I'm currently panning, and I think it's like 35 eyeshadows, which is a lot. So 10 is, I think, a decent amount, especially considering the amount of eyeshadows that I'm panning. So that will be my second goal. And then for my third goal, it's really difficult. I think my third goal It's hard to put in a third goal because I'm not sure I will be able to hit pan or anything else, and I don't really want to put a usage goal on the rest either because I just kind of want to use it organically. But I guess the one I'm looking at is the Naked 2 shade because I already have pan on that. And part of me is thinking, can I hit side pan? But also I'm not sure if I want to hit side pan it yet because I feel like when I hit side pan, it kind of starts crumbling and stuff like that. So should I just say that I want to expand the pan? Like I want to double the size of the pan. I think that's what I'm going to put in for the gold because I have been working to make the size a bit less deep, or like I want to kind of even it out a bit. So I want to continue evening out, and I want to increase the pan like by the same size. So I want to double the size of the pan, and I think that's going to be my third and final goal. But that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And other than that, I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye guys.